Hi. It's Steve. I was talking about things, living things, and objects such as this flashlight right here actually is a form of energy, and so a coin, you may say that has power if you have enough of these coins. Then power from the buying power that it gets, it has power, but and this is a bamboo tree, and these things have they're alive with power, and just like even though the flashlight and the coin you wouldn't say are alive, they still at the basic when you get down to the molecules, they're they're even though they're a solid object, if you looked at them under a microscope, you're going to find that there isn't a they're they're not solid. They're actually a instead of being solid, they are a moving molecule, or there isn't anything that's completely solid. So it's if you get down to it, it's all energy, and these molecules are moving. Even what makes this plant alive or myself alive doesn't it's on the even though if this plant and myself weren't what we call alive, we would still be alive in the physical sense. So it's a little hard to understand, but on the on in the level of on the level of on the level of let me think here. Sorry, this is taking me a second. So you're even though we would died, we would still be alive physically. So what makes us is our mind and our human imagination. And I believe that's where God and Jesus is inside of our human imagination. I believe that can go on. It can live on. And so that idea of death, what is death? I mean, where do we go? Where does that person go? Um, I mean, if I died right now, my body would still be here, but what is alive about myself? And even like an animal, I mean, a plant, you could say, once it dies, the life is gone out of it. So if this was dead, then maybe this form would still be here, but instead of being green, it would be maybe a gray color or dark brown, and these would be wilted, and there wouldn't be hardly anything left of them, and we would say that that is not alive, but yet it is still there, and when you look at it under a microscope, it would still be energy. It would just be a transformed energy. So this is a little hard to grasp and understand, but it is there, and we do have there is life inside of it, and on in a scientific way, we are not we are alive, but we aren't alive. It's a little bit difficult to understand. So I so in a human person, I mean, you know, of all the living organisms on the planet Earth, there is an intelligence that's even this flashlight here has an intelligence. I mean, I can turn it on and it comes on and off, but there's an intelligence that keeps this together, this metal and this glass here, and that the light, the battery that's inside of it, the strap that's on here. So there is an intelligence that's even keeping this flashlight together, and that intelligence is life itself. I mean, the same thing that makes the stars that's such vast differences in this, even the space between us and the stars. There's an intelligence, and I mean, some people call it infinite intelligence. Most people would call that God, and it's a little hard to describe, but I think we're all talking about the same thing. Jesus is is a is in the same way. Um, it's all we would call in the scientific form we would call it energy, and so but the human a human person has more than just that energy and that intelligence that made us and that keeps the you know the video that you're watching right now. It keeps it all together. Everything that you see and everything you see is has an intelligence, and as our human imagination has been able to form this flashlight and create this out of other matter. So we take things that are already this metal that was made for the outer casing of it, and the battery that's inside of it, and the strap and the glass and the light bulb, that all those things are things that are already exist, but then the human imagination turns our things that are maybe in the dirt, uses fire together with it, and then creates uses molds and creates things. And I believe in the same sense that's how we were created, and that's what we call God. But it's there's an intelligence that holds it all together, and and we are the greatest. The human imagination, the human person, is the greatest of the creations. That we actually were given the gift of creation ourselves, and then we, as a human could create something like this flashlight or this cell phone here. The cell phone itself is a creation of the human imagination and the mind. So, you know, that and then the things that aren't created yet that will be created will come from the human imagination. And I believe that the human imagination continues on even in the face of great adversity. That continues, and you know, God has given us that gift of the human imagination and the ability to create. And it's really a little hard to describe and understand and grasp this, what I'm talking about here. And I do believe I'm onto something as far as when you even, you know, you can take the flashlight and the this human body, myself, this flesh and blood, this hair, and you know, I could put myself through. I can go into a furnace and I can burn up completely and just turn into complete ash, and even that ash will have some form of energy. So the cool thing is that the human imagination, you cannot do that with it. It's infinite, and it's anything is possible. It's all things are possible inside the human imagination. All things are possible for those who believe, and it just and even though this body can go through that furnace and be turned to ash, the human imagination goes on, and it's very exciting. So I just hope I'm just kind of, I don't have a topic. It's in the afternoon on a Sunday for me today. And I just decided that I would just record and just talk a little bit. And this subject I just thought I'm just going to talk about whatever comes to my mind. And this is what came to my mind, is that it is, we are a, it is an exciting, our human imagination is infinite, and it's unchangeable. So this is a very exciting concept, and if you have any comments, you know, my email is magiccitysteve, MAGICCITYSTEVE @gmail.com. If you have any comments or any insights more on this subject, please give me an email, and I'll respond to you. Or if you've got more information on this, I'd like to know about it. So that's all for today, and have a great day. Thank you. Goodbye.